In the small town of Ash Hollow, there was an old house at the edge of the forest that no one dared to enter. It was said that the house was cursed, haunted by a woman named Eliza who had vanished many years ago. Every child in town had grown up hearing stories of her, how she'd wandered into the woods one night and never returned, leaving only her screams echoing in the dark. One evening, a boy named Thomas decided he was tired of the ghost stories. He was 17, tall, and stubborn, and he wasn't about to let a crumbling house scare him. He dared his friends to join him, but when they refused, he went alone, armed with nothing but a flashlight. He walked through the rusted gate, the wind howling as if trying to push him back. The door creaked open, revealing a dim hallway. The wallpaper was peeling, and the air reeked of damp wood and decay. Thomas took a deep breath, turned on his flashlight, and stepped inside. He made his way through the old rooms, each one emptier than the last, the floorboards groaning under his weight. He found himself in the living room, where an old rocking chair stood in the corner. It moved slightly, just enough for him to notice, even though the air was still. A shiver ran down his spine, but he brushed it off as a draft. As he stepped closer, he saw a picture frame lying face down on the mantel. He picked it up, revealing a black and white photograph of a young woman with hollow eyes staring straight at him. Suddenly, the room grew cold, and the flashlight flickered. Thomas heard a soft creaking, like footsteps on the stairs. He turned, his heart pounding, but saw nothing. The flashlight flickered again, and in that brief moment of darkness, he felt something brush against his arm, cold and soft, like a hand. He spun around, shining the light wildly. The beam landed on the rocking chair, which now swayed violently back and forth. He heard whispering, faint but urgent, coming from the direction of the stairs. Against his better judgment, he followed the sound, his legs moving as if they weren't his own. The stairs led to a narrow hallway, lined with closed doors. The whispering grew louder, coming from behind the door at the very end. Thomas swallowed hard, his mouth dry. He reached for the handle, his fingers trembling, and turned it. The door swung open to reveal a room bathed in moonlight. It was empty, except for a single mirror standing against the far wall. Thomas stepped inside, his reflection staring back at him. But then, he noticed something. There was someone else in the mirror. Behind him stood the woman from the photograph, her eyes dark and empty, her mouth twisted in a silent scream. He spun around, but the room was empty. He looked back at the mirror, and she was closer now, her hand reaching toward his shoulder. Thomas felt his chest tighten as the room seemed to spin. The whispering grew louder, now echoing in his mind. 1,000 voices telling him to stay,